Hey, what's going on, people? Your boy, man, Mike, coming at you guys with, um, well, this is the news that you guys wanted. This is the news you guys wanted, and look, no, I'm just bullshit. This is what I wanted and what I've been saying all along. Expect to be disappointed, Falcons fans. Expect to be disappointed, and this is exactly what I thought would happen. It wasn't a popular decision to make, but in my opinion, it was the right decision to make. All right, one thing that I want to kind of get across and emphasize. What's good, Terrence, Jason, Bird Nation? What's good, man? Um, this is one thing that I want to get across to help Falcons fans understand. Why was this move made? Why was this move important? And if you know CK, what's good? If you know anything about me, man, if you've been listening to me for uh, at least a half this season, all right, you don't have to be you know a long time follower to kind of understand this aspect. You just have to be a sports fan to kind of understand this aspect. And what am I talking about? What the fuck am I babbling about? It's just chemistry. It's chemistry. It doesn't matter how much talent that you have on your roster. And I've kind of said this to a number of people outside of just this channel of me going live and whatnot. I've said this, man. I think one aspect of football that a lot of people just don't give enough credit to, don't pay enough attention to, is chemistry and camaraderie, continuity. These aspects of any team, it means everything. Just look at the Golden State Warriors. Look at the Golden State Warriors. No Steph Curry, nobody on that team. It's not the same team. Yeah, those guys are big time players, but once you have those players gone, those players are on the field, on the court, they still have to play together. Have to understand to play together. Coaches have to understand how to put these guys in the right position. Look at the Chicago Bulls, 1996 Chicago Bulls. Maybe a little bit before you guys' time, but if you look at that roster, if you look at that team and that 96 Bull team, ain't no way in hell you could tell me, looking at that roster, that outside of Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, and Dennis Rodman, you will want anybody on that freaking roster. Nobody can tell me that. You can't tell me that you will want anybody on that freaking roster. Why? Because these guys are just filled with role players. There's not. It's nothing exciting about those guys whatsoever. It's nothing exciting about Draymond Green. It's nothing exciting about those guys outside of when they hitting threes and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? To go to State Warriors. You look at the Patriots. The Patriots don't do anything exciting. These guys just have worked together so long that they finally understand what each is thinking, when to do certain things, when to pull the trigger on a comeback, like Bill Belichick did, when to blitz, when to do these things. These are the things that comes in time. And this is the thing, this is the aspect of why Arthur Blank decided to bring back Thomas Dimitroff and Dan Quinn. And like I said, I know a lot of you guys are completely pissed off with this, all right? I know a lot of you guys are pissed off. But this is what I've been saying all along. This is about continuity. This is about chemistry. Doesn't matter who you have, Julio. It doesn't matter if you have Matt Ryan. It doesn't matter if you have Grady Jarrett, Trufant, and all these guys on your roster. It means nothing if there's no chemistry. It means nothing if coaches cannot understand which player is good at whatever. It doesn't. One thing, another thing, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, okay? And I'm saying a lot of stuff they wanted Thomas Dimitrov gone, but look, bro, this was the best move. I've broken down several aspects of this offseason in years before. There was Thomas Dimitrov and Dan Quinn, Mike Smith, the coaches, and the 10-year history with Thomas Dimitrov as our GM. He's made some terrible moves. But you can't solely just put it on him. When there is a constant change of coaching in the NFL on one team, how can you expect one player to get comfortable? How can you expect the team to establish some type of continuity, some type of chemistry? How can you do it? You can't do it. Bill Belichick and Tom Brady been together almost 20 years. These guys know how to maximize their talent. And this just didn't come in 5 years. Dan Quinn has only been here in 5 years. Thomas Dimitrov, 10 years or so. You have to build chemistry. And constantly firing guys, a change of offensive coordinator, what Matt Ryan has had, 4 or 5? He's had Mike Mularkey, Dirk Cutter, Steve Sarkisian, Kyle Shanahan, and he has Dirk Cutter again. This is the 5th time guy has changed offensive coordinator. I don't know how many times that this guy has had to change offense. I don't know how many times he's had a different offensive line, head coach, players around him. It's the constant change around Matt Ryan. And this is the reason why Dan Quinn was brought back. This is the reason why Thomas Dimitrov was brought back. It's because the Falcons, whether we like it or not, this was the best thing for chemistry. This was the best thing for the players. Players love Dan Quinn. Okay? Players love Dan. You can't admit that these players don't love Dan Quinn. Anytime you have your 2 best players on your team state that Dan Quinn is not the problem, this is on us, the players, something's wrong, dog. Something is wrong. Something is wrong, and it's not. And it's not the head coach. Yeah, he made some mistakes. Thomas Dimitrov may have brought the wrong guys in. But something is wrong. Sometimes players just don't get it. No matter how great the coach is, no matter how good he is putting players in the position to succeed, sometimes the message just doesn't get. Sometimes it just doesn't get through. And that's why you have guys like Raheem Morris, who was brought in to be the extra motivator. This is what team and this is what coaching is all about. This is what coaching is all about. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what coaching is all about. Making the right moves, putting the right coaches in position to succeed. This is what we're supposed to do. This is what Dan Quinn is supposed to do. Realize that he can't be the defensive coordinator and put the right guys in the position to call the plays so he can be the head coach. Someone has to do it. This is what Bill Belichick has done for years. Quietly done for years. And these are the aspects of the NFL that a lot of fans don't find exciting. And they probably looking at me like, Mike, bro, like we're talking about guys, a head coach and Bill Belichick, who in the league, regardless of cheating, he's established himself as a coach understood that he cannot call plays, worry about, worry about trades, who we're going to play, who's not going to play, substitutions, the packages, how the offense is going to attack, how the defense is going to attack, how he's going to attack on special teams. These are the aspects of head coaching that a lot of fans just don't take into account. Dan Quinn never gets a break on game day. He has to watch special teams. He has to watch defense. He has to watch offense. While the coaches on the sideline coaching the players who are off the field. These are the things that we don't take into account. The head coaching job is a tremendous. It takes a tremendous amount of time and focus and to understand the personnel around you. Build a scheme and put these players in a position to succeed. And that's not going to happen in 5 years. And I'm going to say another thing. And the real Pat McKay brought this up. And real Pat McKay brought this up to me. Falcons going to the Super Bowl may have put us behind. Falcons going to a Super Bowl may have led to a false state of sense as far as them being a better team than what they were. The Falcons thought they were a better defense. The Falcons thought they were a better offense than what they were, and they made moves that did not continue to build on the team. And what I mean by that, you look at the LA Rams. The Rams thought that they were a Super Bowl contender. They were just going to do this year after year after year. They went out and made one move, thought they was one player. They thought they was one player away from winning the championship, and look at them. They traded for Jalen Ramsey, and Jalen Ramsey did not help them get to the Super Bowl. Ended up out of the playoffs. Went out, did the exact same thing. Not made a big trade, but they thought they could just bring in, get a couple of guys here, draft the Calvin Ridley, and they'll be right back to what they were before. It did not happen that way. A false sense of security. Winning that sometimes. And if you don't understand the fact that you have to continuously build your team the right way, this is what happens. The Falcons thought they were better than what they were, and they ended up ultimately not bettering the team. The injuries with Keanu O'Neal, that set them back. The injuries was Trufant, Ricardo Allen. These guys, Tack McKinley can't stay healthy. These injuries add up. And if you don't continue to build your team the proper way and not through free agency, maybe you can get a guy that, another team didn't think, he would amount to anything. That, they may have let go a first round draft pick or, third round draft pick or whatnot. And these guys gave up on him. He comes to Atlanta and Dan Quinn finds a way to maximize his potential. Maybe you can slip up on a guy and bring in a guy like that and have him contribute to the team. But for the most part, through free agency, you're not going to build something that lasts. It's very extremely rare when you sign a free agent that he's going to have the impact, a tremendous impact. You have to continuously build through the draft, and the Falcons have yet to build through the draft the proper way in the trenches. And I know my boy Rashad is in the chat that you have to build through the trenches. You cannot continue to think you're one player away. You just go out and get an Antonio Brown like the damn Saints are doing. I'm just gonna go out, and, sign Antonio Brown. We're gonna go to the Super Bowl, bro. That it doesn't happen that way. Now you done spent what 8 million on a player that didn't work. Well, you could have just drafted a guy or two guys, kept that money, and add more depth. But these are the things that don't get talked about amongst the Atlanta Falcons fan base. Because we have a group of guys, we have a group of content creators that just want to win. And they don't talk about the small intricacies that goes on to winning football games, having a successful organization, firing coaches on your staff, constantly firing GMs, constantly firing head coaches is a recipe for disaster. And no matter how angry the other blank got, no matter how he felt, this was the right thing to do. And I've stated this several times in my live videos and even videos recently. Expect to be disappointed. Expect the Falcons to get back to grind it out that 1998 Atlanta Falcons football, where you run, play sound, fundamental football, and it's not pretty. You're not going to see these Baltimore Ravens highlights of Lamar Jackson. He's making these big plays like Michael Vick. Not going to see that. Every so often, you see a big play from a Calvin Ridley or Julio Jones. But for the most part, I think this Falcons offense is going back to a grinded out, using Caleb McGarry, using Chris Lindstrom, Alex Mack, if he decides to come back for another year, and that's a whole nother story. But this is what I foresee for the Falcons in the near future. And Dirk Cutter, that's a whole nother subject. That's a whole nother subject for Dirk Cutter. But this was the right thing to do, Falcons fan. This was the right thing to do. It was not popular. And I said this before, and you guys can go back and look at the videos for yourself. I wanted Rex Ryan here in Atlanta. I wanted Rex Ryan. I was a huge guy, a huge advocate for bringing in Rex Ryan because I thought he could turn around this defense, maximize our talent. And I still believe that. But when it all comes down to it, chemistry, camaraderie, continuity. This is what this team needs. At some point, you have to continuously stick with the guys who are doing a good job, and these Falcons are making a turnaround. And yeah, I'm tired. I'm sick and tired of seeing this only in the second half. And I think this is one of the reasons why Arthur Blank took so long in saying that Dan Quinn was going to come back. And he said this. He said this. One of the things that really annoyed him with Dan Quinn was the fact that he took too long to make decisions. Accountability. When things went wrong, he stuck with crap that did not work, with players that didn't. And Dan Quinn has to get better at that. And he did a much better job of utilizing Grady, utilizing Vic Beasley, going away from cover three for the most part, mixing coverages. The Falcons mixing coverages more than they've ever done. They're playing more cover two. And I kind of had it out with my boy Skills about Dan Quinn, whether or not it was Dan Quinn's idea or not, I don't think that matters. Even if it wasn't his idea, the fact that Dan Quinn decided that we needed a change on the defensive side of the ball tells me there's growth for him as a head coach. And that's what we need. We don't need coaches that's going to be like Mike Smith that get stuck. They're stuck in what he knows. He's not going to change for anybody. This is why I liked this deal, even for Thomas Dimitrov, bringing Thomas Dimitrov back. It shows growth. You're not going to win doing the same idiot stuff that you've always done before. And Thomas Dimitrov didn't pit. He didn't catch a hissy fit. He didn't say, no, I don't want Rich McKay looking over my shoulder. He didn't say that. He's sitting back. He's saying, okay, I may have done some things wrong, and I'm willing to learn from Rich McKay, who has almost 30 years of experience as a general manager running a team. He's willing to learn from Rich McKay, who has I don't know if you guys know this, but he has a relationship with the commissioner, Roger Goodell. Rich McKay has a relationship with Roger Goodell, so he knows where the NFL trends are going. Rich McKay was with the Tampa Bay Bucks. So Rich McKay is excuse me. But Rich McKay, excuse me. Rich McKay is a guy with experience in building a championship defense. He was there. He hired Raheem Morris as a coach. He helped with John Gruden. Yeah, he's been there all that time. That Tampa Bay defense. He knows how to build a defense and he knows how to build a team. So I know I'm probably boring a lot of people to death with this, man, because I'm not as amped as I usually am doing the live videos, but this is what I wanted to convey to a lot of Falcons fans. And I want to let you guys understand that football is not always about the highlights, bro. Nah, bro, I'm not yawning. I'm sneezing. Nah, I'm sneezing, man. Yo, hell no. What the hell am I be sneezing at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock? All right. But no, this is what I wanted to get over to Atlanta Falcons fans because we I think it's the state the state of the NFL fans, not just the NFL. I think the NFL fans they want more highlights. They want to be entertained, and old style of football like the Ravens, where they got to play defense, run the ball. That shit is not exciting unless you're running, 65 yard touchdowns or whatnot. These big chunk plays, running plays. Fans don't want to see it. Fans don't want to see a run of 3-5-7, 3-5-7, 3-2-1. Fans don't see that. Fans want to see these big plays. Fans want to see a Lamar with 150 yards rushing, 300 yards passing. That's what fans want to see. Fans want to see sacks in bunches, 20 sacks in a year, like an Aaron Donald. That's what Falcons fans want to see. That's what fans want to see, period. And I get it. That's exciting. But no one wants to see the small details of football. Nobody wants to see the block that springs open that stick together. No one wants to see that, your offensive coordinator set up the run the proper way. No one wants to see Matt Ryan out of a play because he read the defense. Nobody wants to see that type of stuff. It's boring as hell, and you have to be a fan of the game to love this type of stuff. But this is what I wanted to get over to fans. All right, this was the right move to make. This was the right move to make. Why? Chemistry. You can't win games constantly firing everyone. Every 5 years, you're firing your head coach. You honestly think you're gonna be successful constantly firing head coaches every 5 years because they don't get the job done or they don't get it done fast enough? Yes, it's a winning league, but at the same time, sometimes you have to sit back and say, it's more to it than just wins. It's more to it than just wins, bro. Are we seeing the defense starting to come around? Are we seeing the offense starting to kind of get it together? Are we seeing the coaches improve? In the second half of the season, yes. I'm seeing those changes. I'm seeing those changes from the offense, defense, and coaching staff. And this is one of the reasons why I said this was the right move. I wasn't happy about it. Because, like I said, I wanted Rex Ryan. I still think Rex Ryan will be able to turn this defense around in no time, especially with a quarterback like Matt Ryan. Rex Ryan to turn this defense around, we'll be in the Super Bowl in 3 years, possibly sooner with a Rex Ryan. Why? Because he's a defensive guru, and that's what Matt Ryan needs. He needs a guy who's going to build a defense, who's going to be at least average, so Matt Ryan could just do his thing. But this move wasn't about Matt Ryan. This move wasn't about Matt Ryan. This move was about building a defense, building a foundation for defense. Building a foundation for defense, building team camaraderie. This was it's all about. So I love this move. I love this move. I wasn't happy necessarily, and team smart move, not necessarily the popular move. The hell with the popular move, but more smart move to make for the Atlanta Falcons. But enough of my talking, man. I'm gonna check you guys' comments out. Rise Up Rundown, goals. We're just watching that. Yeah, Logan actually has some good points, and he understated in that video also that something has to change. Honestly, something has to change. The Falcons just have to do a better job of just coaching. I don't think it's a issue of talent with this team. It's all about coaching and putting these guys in the right position to succeed. What did this mean for the team? What does it mean for the team? I think I said this before, man. I think this is all about. I truly believe this is all about chemistry. Falcons have a pretty good roster. Not enough depth in certain areas, but they have a pretty good roster, and they have an idea of what they want defensively, offensively. But yeah, I think this was the right move for the team and the future. We're talking about the future, and bringing these guys back was good for the future, but good for the team and its chemistry. And Dan Quinn should be thanking Arthur Blank Marco. Yeah, he should, because not many owners would sit back and just give a coach a second chance, especially after what we saw earlier this year, especially defensively. They were a mess defensively. Offensively, they pretty much always been consistent for the most part. Not much has changed offensively, but execution on the offensive side of the ball, just executing more. That's pretty much it. And their cut is doing a pretty good job of calling plays, different types of plays. I give him that, but outside of that, I think he needs to he needs to focus on balance. That's the only thing that really irritates me with Dirk Cutter. He just wants to throw the ball 50, 45, 50 times a game, and you're not going to get the best out of your players, especially offensive line. That's the biggest issue. When you're dropping back 45, 50 times a game, you're not using your offensive line's strength. No offensive lineman wants to step back and wait for a defensive lineman to come after them at these crazy amounts of speed. Guys like Aaron Donald coming at you 45 times a game, you running backwards. No offensive lineman wants. They want to attack. They want to get the chance to knock Aaron Donald out. They want to get the chance to double team Aaron Donald. They want to attack. And the only way you're going to attack on the offensive side of the ball is to run the ball down their freaking throats. Give the offensive lineman a chance to punch back. And passing the ball 45, 50 times a game it's not going to do it. It's not. Teams know when they play Dirt Cutter that the Falcons are more than likely they're gonna eat. They're gonna eat defensively. They're gonna have every opportunity to eat and get after Matt Ryan because they know the Falcons are gonna pass the ball 45, 50 times a game under Dirt Cutter. And they're not gonna run the ball. They're not gonna use those big 330-pound offensive linemen the way that they should. They know it. They know it. Offensive linemen. Let Caleb McGarry punch. Caleb McGarry punch. He's too damn big. This dude's like 6'8", 300, 330 pounds or so. Yeah, let him punch you in the face. Let him get after you. Cam Jordan he learned that the first game. That he couldn't just out physical Caleb McGarry. That he had to come back and be more of a technician when it comes to Caleb McGarry. That guy's too big. He's good of a player. He's too good of a player. You have to use him. You have to attack Caleb McGarry with pass rush moves. And that's how Cam Jordan got him the second time. He figured out that he had to use technique with Caleb McGarry because he doesn't have the experience. I wonder if we 13 in the draft. And honestly, I don't know the draft position right now. But they win If they win the last game, they will be 7-9. So they would probably sit somewhere between 11 and 15. But it really just depends on how many of the other teams that are sitting next. Falcons with 6 wins if they win, where they fall. But I expect them to be somewhere in the neighborhood of last year, from 11 to 15. But Rich McKay, for the most part, she gave. Um, Rich McKay is the guy that's going to be making all the calls for right now. Dan Quinn and Thomas Dimitroff have to answer to Rich McKay. This is no longer their team. Okay. Yeah, they're still playing yeah, they are still employed with Atlanta Falcons, but this right here, team is everything has to go through Rich McKay. Everything has to go through Rich McKay. So I'm looking through you guys' comments, man. And I want to just say this about Thomas Dimitrov. I know a lot of people, including myself, is pretty much, crapped all over him. He's failed more than he's succeeded, but I want to make this clear. I still believe that Thomas Dimitrov is a pretty good skill player evaluator for his corners, receivers, running backs, things of that nature. I think he's good at evaluating those types of talent. And I think that's one of the main reasons why the Atlanta Falcons brought him back. He can evaluate the skill players, and I think that's one of the main reasons why the Atlanta Falcons brought him back. He is very good at that. So I don't want to make it, like I said, you know how this channel is, man. I don't want to just bash a player or bash a coach or bash a general manager and not point out his positives. And that's the positive with Thomas Dimitrov. He's very good when it comes down to skill players. But at this point, like Rashad said, he's a figurehead. Thomas Dimitrov at this point is a figurehead. He has to shut up and listen to Rich McKay. And has an opportunity to learn from Rich McKay. And that's what it is. That's what it's about. As a head coach, as a general manager, you can't pretend like you know everything. Like myself, I'm a content creator. I can't pretend to know every freaking thing because I don't know everything. Dan is good with film, breaking down the draft and things like that. So I learned from him in that aspect. The real Patman, dude is brilliant when it comes down to numbers and stats. This is where I get my numbers and stats from. The real Patman. Got to be willing to learn, and I think this is for the Atlanta Falcons that Thomas Dimitrov did not take it personal. That Rich McKay will be the guy in charge for the most part. They will answer to him. They will answer to Rich McKay. They are willing to learn. Dan Quinn is willing to learn. Dan Quinn is willing to give up power. Because there's a lot of coaches that is not coaching right now because they want a job under their rules. Mark Jackson at the NBA. People are like, why is Mark Jackson not coaching? He's too good. He helped build that Golden State team. Well, that's one of the reasons why. Because he wants everything the way that he wants it. And sometimes you got to give up something to get something. And I think this is a great sign for Dan Quinn, Thomas Dimitrov. Whether or not it work, personally, I think it will. But there's always that doubt. There's always that what if. Injuries happen, things happen. It may or may not. But for the most part, yeah, dog. I think it was the right move for Arthur Blank to bring them back. But Anthony Wright, yeah, dog, you're right about that. I don't think Thomas Dimitrov is good at trench players. I don't think that's his strength. But like I said, I think he's very good at picking corners. Um, I think he's very good picking receivers, tight ends, running backs, things of that nature. And that's something that the Falcons, even myself, you can't deny that he knows how to pick those players. Because true fun, and whether you like it or not, a lot of Falcons fans who don't really appreciate the art of what true fun is. True fun is an old school corner. Great technique, great technique. Doesn't get a ton of interceptions, but he's not going to be consistently beaten, burnt like some league. Okay, you're not going to consistently in true fun. Just not going to happen. But he's responsible for bringing in Desmond Trufant, a number of corners. Yeah, he did that. So he is good for something. All right. I don't want to say that Thomas Dimitrov is good for nothing. Because that'll be false and that'll be complete BS on my end. To say that Thomas Dimitrov doesn't have skill. And another thing that I want to kind of get, and I'm gonna make it. I think the Falcons are gonna make a weird move that is gonna leave Falcons fans like, what in the hell? It's gonna be a weird move, and it could quite possibly end up trading up for a player, especially if these two things happen. One thing, I'll just give you one, and I'll give you the other one later. But especially if Vic Beasley is resigned, but especially if he walks. The Falcons will make a big time move in the draft. If Vic Beasley walks, for sure, I'm 100% certain on this. If Vic Beasley walks, the Falcons are going to make a move in the draft. They're going to move up. They're going to take a big time move. They're going to make a bold move in the draft with Vic Beasley. I think the Falcons are going to make a splash in the draft to get their player or players, much like they did with Caleb McGarry and Chris Lindstrom in this past draft. But I truly believe that the Falcons are going to go after a player, especially if Vic Beasley walks. You can count on it. You do not exactly to walk if you're not going to be aggressive in the draft. Just doesn't happen. It will not happen. The Falcons are way too smart to let Vic Beasley walk for nothing, and you just sit back and hope that Tack McKinley stays healthy and Tack McKinley magically turns into Khalil Mack. The Falcons are too smart for that. So expect for the Falcons to make a move, especially if Vic Beasley walks. I still think the Falcons are going to make a move, regardless of the fact that Vic Beasley walks in the draft. But I do not expect the Falcons to sit back and just wait for a player. They're going to go after works out. But I truly believe that the Falcons are going to sit back and they're going to go out and make a move. They're going to make a move. I don't think the Falcons are going to sit back in the draft and just wait for a player. Just don't believe it. What do you think about all of the mentioning that they are not worried about the cap space? Kind of want to make a video. I could go in depth with a video later, but for the most part, I've pretty much stated this as well. Again, you guys can chat with me on Twitter, or if you can find me on Facebook. But I pretty much stated this that the Falcons are not in any cap space. I don't know where this came from that the Falcons, they don't have any money, they're not going to have money. Um, this wasn't true. And now, like I said, don't listen to a lot of these guys. Like the, the I'm just going to say this: don't listen to a lot of content creators that are out here saying that the Falcons are in cap hell, they're not going to be able to do this, and they're not going to be. There's always a way to create cap space. Always a way. Whether it's trading a guy, getting rid of a guy, restructuring. What's the Falcons did today? Matt, again, people like, man, Ryan, why do you give him $5 million? Why you give him $30 million a year? This is the reason why. But the quarterback, every couple of years or so, you can restructure his, give him a little bit more guaranteed, and take away from his base salary. This is what they did with Grady. This is what they did with Matt Ryan. And I think in another year or two, this is probably what they'll do with Julio Jones, Deion Jones. These are the reasons why you give these guys these massive deals, guaranteed money, and kind of take away from their salary, from their salary. This is what happened. This is what happened with the Patriots. The Patriots do it with Tom Brady, and this is what New Orleans did with Drew Brees when everybody thought that they were in cap hell. There's always a way to get more money from year to year, but you have to draft well, and that's another thing. But there's always a way. When you do things like this, you have to draft well. But they open up $12 million in cap space. And Keanu Neal, I'm seeing comments about Keanu Neal. Keanu Neal to kind of take a different role with the Atlanta Falcons. He's still going to be that tackling the guy for the most part. It's going to be he's going to lead the team in tackles. That's what I fully expect from Kendall Neal, but he has to get healthy. And I think the Falcons are going to take it easy with him. Let him fully heal, especially with that Achilles. Don't bring him back. Maybe they can put him on the pup list for the first 4 or 5 games. I have to look at the rules as far as the pup list is concerned, but maybe you put him on the pup list, physically unable to perform list for at least 4 to 5 weeks. Is that possible? Again, I have to look at the rules, but for the most part, put him on the pup list, let him heal, draft a guy that can come in or sign a guy. I think the Falcons have a guy in Cyprian. I think he's a free agent as well. But if they can bring back a guy like Cyprian or draft a guy like Cyprian to kind of come in and be that, that box safety slash linebacker that the Falcons need in this defense, and let Keanu Neal get healthy, fully healthy, and not rush him back, I think that's something that the Falcons can do and turn him to. Again, I said the video. I made the video. I think that Keanu Neal can become. He could be the next Thomas Davis. I think he could be the next Thomas Davis. Those guys have a pretty similar history as far as safety, skill set. I think there's a tremendous. I think those guys have tremendous similarities, man. But Muhammad, yeah, bro, it's all about patience, bro. It's all about patience. It's all about patience. I think a lot of fans, and sometimes I am impatient. I'm impatient, especially when it comes to like players. I want to see players succeed the way that I want them to see them succeed, but sometimes it takes time to kind of maximize these guys, put these guys in the right position, and that's kind of what I saw with Devondre Campbell. The Falcons stopped using him in coverage as much, and it made a tremendous difference in his game. But it may be a little bit too late for him. Um, it may be a little bit too late for him. I don't think he'll be Falcons. Just don't have the money, one, and I just don't think his skill set is good for this team, dog. I don't think his skill set is good for this team. But expect Austin Hooper. I think that money, the $12 million for this year, is going to pretty much go to Austin Hooper. I expect the Falcons to announce that really soon. I expect them to announce that really soon. I do not expect Austin Hooper to hit free agency. This is going to be rectified really soon, dog. I think this is that $12 million are going to go into paying Austin Hooper, and the Falcons got to get him. That dude is a stud. He's one of the best tight ends in the league, a Pro Bowler again, again. But yeah, the Falcons are definitely going to take. But yes, Falcons fans, like the Falcons not hurting for cash and may have to cut a guy or two or let guys walk. And the Falcons have at least three guys that I remember off bat. And I have to look at my notes, but at least three defensive linemen that are going to be free agents. So some money will be coming off the books, and the Falcons just have to do a better job of allocating, bringing in guys that fit this scheme, that fit what Raheem Morris wants to do. He and Dan Quinn wants to do defensively. Because I think these guys have an idea of what they want on defense, how they're going to attack. And we're going to see the Falcons attack more like the Baltimore Ravens, sending five guys, playing zone behind it, playing man behind it, and let your athletes be athletes. I think we're going to see a much more aggressive Atlanta Falcons team. I think you're going to see a much more aggressive Atlanta Falcons team. And I don't think it's I think the days for the Atlanta Falcons being passive are pretty much gone. I don't think we'll see a passive Atlanta Falcons defense anymore. We're not going to see a ton of cover three. We're not going to say that, it won't be cover three or they won't be cover two. I think we're going to see a lot of cover two, cover three, but we're going to see a lot of man. We're going to see a lot of press man from this team, especially when you get aggressive. We kind of saw a preview of that in the preseason, but for whatever reason, it just did not translate into the into the regular season. I don't know why, but it just didn't happen. Went back to that cover two. Went back to that cover three. Where is Aaron Donald now? That he's gotten paid. Look, man, Aaron Donald's still putting up numbers, but like I think I got a lot of criticism for saying this. Like I got a lot of criticism for saying this, that I don't like paying defensive players like $100 million. I'm just not gonna do that, man. Even for Aaron Donald, it's like, yeah, he's a once in a generation player. Maybe I'll give him, a 3-year deal for like 75 million. But outside these long 4 or 5 year deals for $100 million for Khalil Mack, and that shit, it very rarely works out for that team. Yeah, Aaron Donald is gonna get put up his numbers, but we seeing in Chicago, like after Chicago gave Khalil Mack that huge deal, these dudes can't even get in the damn playoffs. These dudes can barely get in the playoffs. The offense still sucks. Yeah, Khalil Mack is still doing it, but like they're struggling on defense. So I'm always the massive 5-year deals, $100 million for a defensive player, no matter how good he is. Because at some point it comes down to like, what are the players around him? Can you draft well? And a lot of teams just haven't had a consistent history of drafting well. And when you're paying guys $100 million, it limits what you can do with your team. So I'm glad that the Falcons gave Grady Jarrett his 4-year deal, $5 million. It was a fair deal, but it wasn't a long 5-year deal where he's going to be locked into that contract. That's my biggest issue with contracts. He's playing these massive deals. But when it comes down to it, man, when it all comes down to it, I appreciate everybody for tuning in to this live, man. But I think what it comes down to for Atlanta Falcons fans, we have to understand is that this is all about chemistry and not about he sucked for 1 year. We have to look at the full picture, and the full picture for the Atlanta Falcons is that Dan Quinn was making an adjustment. They believe it is the right way to go about things. I think the Falcons understand what they did wrong this time, and it's it's really up to Arthur Blank. Arthur Blank believes in Rich McKay. Rich McKay can help get this thing turned around, and we just have to wait and see. All right, so let me know what you guys think about this, man. Continue to support your boy here, man. Mike Sports, man. I'm gonna drop that Thomas Dimitroff, not Thomas Dimitroff, but that video on the salary cap restructuring deal really soon. So continue to support your boy, man. Mike Sports, man. But I'm gone, baby. Peace.